Well, hello, everyone. How are you? And welcome to Demystifying Government Contract. You have come to the right place. As you know, we are all about empowering small business success. You have come to the right place. I'm sorry, I'm up here watching myself. I was trying to make sure we were going live, but you have come to the right place because at Demystifying Government Contracting, we bring together some amazing experts all about empowering small business success. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Gardner-Ince, aka GI, host of Demystifying Government Contracting. But we have one of our amazing, um, I call it experts, joining us today. But before we get started, let me just get rid of a couple of administrative remarks so we can get on to the reason you're really here, which is to understand how to scale your business with strategic joint ventures and teaming. Um, I do want to say, give a disclaimer that I do work for the Department of Veteran Affairs 9 to 5. And so as a result, um, everything that I say here does not represent uh, the Department of Veteran Affairs. We always say trust but verify. We want you to understand that we are giving you real and true facts, but we do understand that how those facts and information may apply to your business may be different. So we ask that you trust and verify it. We ask that you consult your legal, your accounting, your tax, and your business advisor folks. Um, if you want to read the full disclosure, you can go to my LinkedIn and read the full disclosure there. I do want to encourage you to follow our guest expert today, Lisa Anderson, on LinkedIn. She's here. She's going to talk about scaling your business with strategic joint ventures and teaming. It's going to be an exclusive 1 hour session. She is just amazing. I'm so blessed to be in her presence. I knew her before. We'd done a couple of virtual engagements prior to COVID. And then recently, last year, she joined our panel of experts. Lisa is a CPA and MBA. She's a seasoned business strategist who has scaled and built 3 successful enterprises over the past 25 years. Can I say receipts? Can I say receipts? There's a whole lot of people out here talking about it, but it hadn't been about it, okay? That's not the case with Lisa. Lisa Anderson has receipts. In this session, she's going to talk to us again about teaming. But I do want to say her extensive experience. She's created a pulse profit method in which she's brought a book which has empowered her to build multiple successful businesses on her own, but also to help others build successful businesses. I recently got the opportunity to meet one of her clients who gave a unsolicited testimonial of endorsement and said that she has been with Lisa for more than 14 years and she is going to clear $35 million this year. So I just want to say congratulations to Lisa. She's generous with her expertise and with her insight. And let me tell you, we are honored to have her with us. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, GI. I always love being on this platform, and I appreciate you all day long for all of the information that you are sharing and helping to improve and increase small businesses in the federal marketplace. You talk about how generous I am in sharing my information. Let me tell you, you have been
Thank you,
so
lady.
very generous. So thank you, and I appreciate you.
I see you getting love in the chat. I'm putting a little bit on the screen here. So if you add your presentation, I will put it up on the screen and get on out of the way. Thank you for your kind words, but iron sharpeneth iron. So I'm so glad that you're able to do this. And Lisa's gonna come back and talk to us about another amazing topic called pricing. So tune in, lean in, and I'm gonna kick it over to you, Lisa.
Awesome. So I don't see the presentation on the screen. Oh, there we go. Oh, excellent. Well, thank you again, Michelle. I appreciate you. And I see our other experts down in the chat saying good evening. And it's great to see you all out here tonight as well. Tonight, we're going to talk about the title of my talk this evening is Joint Venturing, a Fast Track to Business Growth. And you'll see as I go through the presentation that joint venturing encompasses so many different things. But as you are going through the process of scaling your businesses, I want you to think about your strategies and how you can embrace and engross upon the process of growing through partnering, teaming, and joint venturing with other organizations. As Michelle mentioned, I am Lisa Anderson. I'm not going to go through my entire bio because Michelle did a great job of sharing with you who I am. But what I will tell you is that I've been in this wonderful world of federal government contracting for 39 years. And I've been doing this as a business for 27 years. Much of my business has been in directly supporting small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the federal marketplace. But in addition to that, I've also been a contractor. So there are some things that I will talk about and that I will share that it's not foreign to me. It's not foreign to me because, number one, I've helped other companies establish structures that have been successful in executing these strategies. And then I've also done some of these things myself. So this is not new to me. I've been in this industry for a really long time. And my objective is to help as many small businesses achieve as much success as they can and see their way to legacy. Much of what I will talk about tonight is referenced in my book, Beyond the Plateau, 5 Simple Steps to Scale Your Way to $1 Million Business. It has an accompanying workbook that you can go or what we call a journal, workbook journal, planning journal that helps you go through the process of executing some of the strategies that are discussed in the book. But I will talk about those things. And as Michelle mentioned, my company established the proprietary process, which we call the Pulse Profit Method of growing and scaling your business. And that is where we help CEOs of small businesses focus on 4 key areas. That is their mission, marketing, money, and management. And I say it in that order. A lot of companies start the process and they start it in a specific place. Typically, it's going to be marketing, and they stayed there for far too long. And what happens is the business isn't balanced enough. So what we want to be able to do is help companies establish clarity and confidence in the delivery of their goods and services to their customers by increasing their competencies, being consistent in the marketplace, increasing their cash flow. And ultimately, at the end of the day, business growth is all about capacity. Do we have the capacity to do all the things that we say we're going to do? So what we want to be able to do is increase capacity and help companies grow from the inside out. So right now, where we are in the federal marketplace is in a very interesting position. We are headed towards an election time, right? We're about in November. We will be voting for a new leader and a chief of our country, a leader of our country. And what I will say is a lot of individuals and organizations are concerned about where we are right now. There's a lot of uncertainty from the government perspective, and then also uncertainty in the marketplace about what are we going to do next? Who is going to be our leader? What are going to be the initiatives? Where will the money flow? How will the money flow? What are things going to slow down between now and the changeover to a new administration potentially? What is going to happen? And what I would say is throughout the course of my time in business, I started business in 1997, and we are here now in 2024. And I've been through 5 presidents in 8 terms. And what I will say is, yes, there are fluctuations. Yes, there are changes. Yes, there are things that we have to be able to adapt to as it relates to a change in administration. However, at the end of the day, we as small businesses have the ability to be flexible, to be nimble, and have the opportunity to really lean in and provide our customers with whatever the mission is, whatever their mission is, and what it is that they need to help drive that mission. We have the opportunity as small businesses to be quickly flexible to make those deliveries. So what I want to say is, right now in the federal marketplace, what I am seeing with companies in the Department of Defense space, as well as in the civilian space, and then also some of my clients are in the intelligence space, is that there has been some slowdown, but yet there has been some pick up as it relates to acquisitions. We are at a very particular time in our procurement cycle. Certain things happen, and I'm going to talk about that in a few moments, but certain things happen at this time of year. Typically, when we are approaching this time of year, we may have seen some release of acquisitions, but this year's been a little slow. And in some cases, now we're starting to see some acquisitions pick up, some acquisition activity pick up. So what I want to say to you all is hang in there. Keep your ears to the ground. Listen out for all the things that are happening, and continue to have conversations with your customer. Continue to have conversations with your partners so that you can be prepared to lean into that flow of money when it changes. A lot of people right now, as we head into a potential new administration, is, you hear a lot of people saying the sky is falling. There's a lot of panic and anxiety, not knowing what is going to happen next. But at the end of the day, what I am going to say is the sky is not falling. The sky is not falling. The sky is still going to continue to stay where it is. The money is going to continue to flow. There may be different initiatives, but like I said before, we have to lean in and be prepared. So where are we right now in our marketing cycle? This is what we call the marketing season and marketing cycle. And this is one of the schematics that we utilize to help companies that we work with understand what they should be doing in certain seasons of the year. So right now we are in the next week, we will be in the fourth quarter of the federal government fiscal year. So that's July through September. And that is generally a heavy procurement season. This is when the government is executing new contract activity. They're also looking at dollars that may need to be spent before the end of the fiscal year, depending upon the type of money that is remaining. And they want to be able to spend it before they may have to give it back to Treasury. Nobody wants to do that. They want to be able to utilize the funds and execute on the initiatives that are in place, the strategic initiatives that are in place for that particular agency. So there's a lot happening right now. Contracting officers are extremely busy in this heavy procurement season. Then we step into the first quarter of the year, which is October through December. And from the government perspective, it's pretty quiet. I mean, there's some things that are happening administratively, but it's a quiet season. I actually had a conversation with the contracting officer yesterday, and he was encouraging us to take action on a couple of contract actions before, as we are approaching July and August, because he reminded us that he has some use or lose on the books, and he's going to be out and away in towards the first quarter of the fiscal year. So we may not be able to communicate with him. But let me just tell you this, that is common in the federal marketplace. But what does that mean from a contractor's perspective? From a contractor's perspective, that's when we should be doing our homework. We shouldn't, because the government is quiet, doesn't mean that we should slow down. It means that this is the time for us to really lean in, understand what the initiatives are, examine the budget, should one be released. We want to also make certain that we understand how the money is going to flow and start to document those agencies and individuals and organizations that we are going to communicate strategically with over the course of the next year. But that is what we should be doing as a contractor. Then we have January through March. This is when we see a lot of small business outreach occur. This is if you've done your homework in October through December, you're ready to actually lean into that outreach activity. You know who you need to have a conversation with. And because you are on this call tonight, you already know that you should be following Michelle and everything that she's doing as it relates to small business outreach, because she's everywhere. You want to follow Michelle. And then we have April through June, which is the third quarter. And this is when, if you've done your homework in the first quarter, you've gone to the outreach sessions and you've started to mix and mingle with the customer as well as others in the room. Now we're ready to start preparing for the opportunities to pitch our services, to really allow these agencies to get to know what we do at the most intimate level, so that we can be prepared for that fourth quarter where we are about to enter into right now, where we can start to capture new opportunities. So if you haven't done your homework throughout the course of the year, it doesn't mean that you can't capture opportunities right now, but you want to make certain that you are doing your homework throughout the course of the year so that you are well prepared for the fiscal year end. So what we're going to talk about tonight is ways in which to fast track your growth. The fastest path to cash is what I call it in the federal marketplace. So are you ready to place your business on the fast track to growth? So what does that actually mean? What does it mean to scale your business? When we think about scaling, many organizations or business owners think about a straight line, and that straight line is going from point zero to point millions. It's a straight line going up. Well, the reality is there are many steps and shifts that we will take throughout the course of our growth. And so what we've developed is this chart, which kind of helps companies understand that there are 6 different phases of growth that you will go through. And within each phase, you may actually experience other phases of growth within that level. So from launch to legacy, there are many different positions that you will find your company in. So I'm going to leave this chart on the screen for a moment so that you can really take a look at it. I want you to lean in. I want you to take a look at what is on this screen. And what I want you to do is I want you to consider where your company is right now. If you're just starting out, you're just launching, you're kind of in startup mode, great. That's a good beginning. What you want to be able to do is know exactly where you are honestly, so that you can determine what your next level is. What is your next level move, and what is required at that next level? And when it comes to fast tracking your growth and leaning into joint venturing, partnering, and working with other organizations to help establish that growth, that is a fast path to growth in the federal government marketplace. A lot of times companies will try to go through this process alone, and they can be extremely successful, but their growth pattern takes a little bit longer in general to get from launch to 30 million. But when you start to think about partnering with other organizations as you go through the process of scaling your business, now we can get to that 30 million and beyond a lot faster. So again, I want you to take a look at the screen before I advance to the next slide. Make a decision on where you are today. Make that determination, and then make certain that you understand what your next level move is. So if you are in lifestyle, which is where a lot of companies that we work with from the beginning are, then their next move is to advance to leverage, where now we're starting to focus on developing management capabilities, increasing our teams. We're looking at larger contract opportunities. We are focused on hiring operational support, things that will help elevate us as CEO, so that we can really go out and start making some really good, solid connections with our partnering opportunities. So hopefully you have taken a look at this screen, you know where you are, and you know what your next level move will be. So partnering with others in business can be your fast path fast track to growth. And what I always like to say is, and you've probably heard it before, is your network is your net worth. And you probably heard us talk about this on this show many times over. But this is one of the areas where I see a lot of companies leave millions of dollars on the table where they don't tap into their network to help expand and increase opportunities. So I want you to start thinking about, who do you have in your network? I'm talking about companies that you've come in contact with, companies that you've worked for. I'm going to tell you, one of my biggest benefits in my, or I'm going to say assets in my network, has been my former employers. When I first started my business in 1997, my previous employers did a couple of things. Number one, they hired me as a consultant to come back in and help them with compliance or financial management, or they referred other organizations to me. And in some cases, they have partnered with me. So you want to take a look at the network that you've developed, and then also consider the network that you are developing, because this is a fast path to growth. So let's define really quickly what joint venturing is. So a joint venture is a cooperative enterprise formed with two or more business entities that come together to achieve a common purpose. In the federal marketplace, it involves partnering to bid on multiple companies coming together to bid on contract opportunities together, and then leveraging their contractual assets. So what are contractual assets? That could be the certifications that you or your partner may hold that can help to achieve or obtain contract set-aside opportunities. For example, being an 8A certified organization with the Small Business Administration, or being a small disabled veteran-owned small business. These certifications can help to capture set-aside opportunities where at a faster pace, where some other organizations may not be able to, because they don't hold those certifications. So those are your contractual assets. So companies come together to partner on bids and to contract opportunities so that they can come together and capture that business. So think about joint venturing is an opportunity for you and multiple companies to work together. So what is the benefit of joint venturing? And there are many. So the first is it increases your capacity. When you come to the table with another company or maybe multiple companies, then you are increasing the ability to assist and support the customer. You're increasing the capacity that you have to deliver on that contract opportunity. So there is an opportunity for you to increase your capacity in the marketplace. It also gives you an opportunity to increase your competence, because when you come to the table with other organizations, it's not just about your past performance as a company and the past performance of the people that you have hired, but it's also jointly, you're jointly adding the competencies of others that you are bringing to the table, other companies and organizations. So now we know that in the federal marketplace, you can have a contract that is specifically focused on one area. But in many cases, you're going to find contracts that are focused across many different areas. And you can't do it all as one organization. So when you bring other companies to the table and you partner together, you have the opportunity to capture those opportunities because now you have increased your competencies. It gives you an opportunity to enter new markets, areas where you may not have considered before. I have a client that I have worked with over the years, and much of their work was centered around information technology and system support. But as they started to lean into certain areas and they started to partner and they started to increase their past performance and capabilities, they've been able to enter into new markets. New markets meaning now they do some work centered around financial management and acquisition support, which is not something that they had on their strategic plan. But because they worked on a contract that had multiple disciplines and they had partners that delivered on those disciplines, and they, as this prime contractor, managed those components, Now they've been able to add that as a part of their past performance, as well as their capabilities, and giving them the opportunity to enter into new markets. It gives you an opportunity to increase your cash flow, certainly because there's greater opportunities that are out there for you. And it gives you an opportunity to broaden your network. Again, at the end of the day, your network is your net worth. And we don't want to leave millions on the table. So there are different characteristics as it relates to joint venturing. They can be short-term or long-term. They can be have the opportunity, as I mentioned before, to combine resources and expertise to go to market. Joint ventures give you an opportunity to save money on advertising expenses, because now we have two or more companies that are doing business together, development jointly. It gives you an opportunity to create potentially a separate entity versus just doing a teaming arrangement. You could create a separate entity that now is owned by your joint venturing partners. So that's another form of joint venture. And then the definitions say that one of the characteristics that it can be informal handshake as it relates to your joint venturing. I don't recommend that at all. I think all of your business partnerships and opportunities and team arrangements should be formal. They should have a written agreement. It should not just be a handshake. And we'll talk about why that is the case in a moment. So what are the different types of joint venturing? There's teaming agreements, which I know many of you are familiar with, where you and one other or multiple companies decide to go together after a specific opportunity. And so you put a teaming, an agreement together to work together to pursue this opportunity and to establish some subcontracting arrangements, some work share arrangements. There's affiliate and referral programs. We don't see that too much in the federal government marketplace. We see that primarily in the commercial space. There's wholesaling, another type of joint venturing that we see in the commercial space as well. Consortiums. I haven't seen this in a while. However, this is where multiple businesses, and primarily it's been smaller businesses, have decided to come together and form an organization where they look for certain types of contract opportunities, and then they decide based upon their membership who is going to pursue those contract opportunities. I don't see this as much anymore as I had in the past, primarily because now we see more of the formal joint venture businesses that are being formed, where these companies are coming together and are establishing a separate organization where they all have some type of ownership, and that one newly formed entity is now the government's contractor. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can partner or joint venture with other organizations, but primarily in the federal government marketplace, you're going to see teaming agreements, you're going to see consortiums, and you're going to see formal business formations or formal joint ventures. So let's talk about how joint venturing can help by the numbers. And so these are numbers that are near and dear to me. These are numbers where I just kind of pulled out some examples of how joint venturing somehow has helped to increase revenue in my company. So the first one is $250,000. This is a number. This is how much revenue we earned on one opportunity with a client through strategic partner referrals. So again, your network is your net worth. Our strategic partner referred someone to us, and we picked up $250,000 as a result of that referral. The next is $5,650 is what we earned with one check through an affiliate marketing program. And what that means is we are an affiliate of another organization. And when we bring companies together to acquire through that organization, we receive some benefit from that. And then we also pass that benefit on to our customers. We also have been involved in a wholesale program. Now, this one is a smaller amount, but nonetheless, it's not much work that we have to do. through a wholesale program, when we sign a client up to do some work with one of our strategic partners through a wholesaling program, we get some commission as a result of that. So that's a wholesaling program. Again, small dollars, but I don't have to do much work for that. And then the last three are teaming partnerships. And this is where we team with other organizations to pursue certain work. And I want to talk about the one in the middle, $4,500,000. That was our very first prime government contract. And we were awarded that very first contract because of our teaming partnership with a company that we had worked with. They were graduating from the 8A program. We were 8A certified at the time. They we had worked together for so long that we had a really good reputation of working together. They introduced us to the customer, and we were able to go in as a partner, a teaming partner, and capture that work. So this is just a way for you to understand that there are many ways in which joint venturing can help you increase your revenue, either directly or indirectly, based upon how you actually lean in to your strategic partnerships. So let's talk about a few other numbers. So there are 30 million small businesses in the United States, and only 9% of them earn $1 million or more in revenue. There are 11,600,000 women-owned businesses, and only 4.2% of them earn $1 million or more in revenue. And when I take a look at those statistics, I have to ask the question, why? Why is that? Why is it that more women-owned businesses and small businesses don't capture a greater piece of the pie? And a lot of it is because we don't partner. We don't partner. So I want you to think about that as one of your strategic objectives as you move forward in the procurement cycle with your customer. So $47 million, what does that represent? That represents the one contract value of a joint venture deal that a client that I've worked with has sealed. $47 million. They earned that. Why? Because they partnered formally with another organization. And that gave them the opportunity. It made the difference for them to increase their company by 423%. Could you do that by yourself? Maybe, probably take you a little bit longer than this one contract win. But what I will say is partnering gives you the opportunity to fast track that growth. Okay. So key strategies for growth. What should you be considering? My recommendation is to think about partnering with three. I always love the rule of three, the power of three. Look to partner with a small business, look to partner with a mid-sized business, and then look to partner with a large business. If you concentrate on the power of three, you have the opportunity to diversify your opportunities, to again, accelerate your growth. So what are you focusing in on at each one of these levels? At the small business level, from a small business to another small business, you're looking at potentially establishing teaming agreements and subcontracting agreements. Okay. 9 times out of 10, a small to a small is not really prepared for a more sophisticated type of agreement. Okay. But you have the opportunity to pool your resources together through partnering through a teaming agreement or a subcontracting agreement to go after opportunities. You can leverage your certifications. You can leverage your past performance. You can build past performance if you 2 or more small businesses partner together to go after an opportunity. So think about partnering with other small businesses. I also say, partner with your large business on the opposite end of the spectrum, because 9 times out of 10, a large business is going to have some subcontracting goals that they have to meet or achieve. And if you have past performance, you have resources, expert resources that you can bring to the table, 9 times out of 10, you have an opportunity to work with a large business through a teaming agreement, a subcontracting agreement, or maybe establishing a formal joint venture. Okay. But where the gold resides is in partnering with mid-sized companies. And why is there gold there? I say there's gold there because your small businesses, there's plenty that we can partner with, and there's a lot of room for us to grow. With the large businesses, there's a requirement and a need for them to work with smaller companies. But mid-sized companies, they're in an awkward position. What is the awkward position? They are too big to be small and too small. I'm sorry, they're too small to be big. So they're caught in that very awkward position where it's difficult for them to accelerate their growth. And so where there is great opportunity is with the mid-sized companies to form formal joint ventures where you can leverage your certification as a small business to help them, one, maybe maintain a piece of some of the small business opportunities that may be expiring, that they may not otherwise have access to because they can't compete on it any longer. You also have an opportunity to leverage your certifications where they can't leverage certifications any longer. There's a lot of reasons why partnering with a mid-sized company to either team or subcontract or establish a formal joint venture is potentially a lucrative opportunity. Okay. So I always say, lean on the power of 3, diversify your portfolio, look for a good small business partner, a good mid-sized business partner, and a good large business partner. When you do that, now you are really giving your company access to greater opportunities for growth, greater opportunities for wealth. Okay. So going back to the procurement cycle, as it relates to the different types of partnering or joint venturing opportunities through subcontracting, teaming agreements, formal joint venturing, and establishing a consortium. At the end of the day, timing is everything. Okay. As I mentioned before, if you want to, next month, if you want to walk into the federal marketplace with your hands open and wait for money to pour, you will have needed to have done your homework. You will have needed to establish certain types of partnerships. I'm sorry, not partnerships, but relationships with different organizations in order to make that happen. So if you haven't done that, what I want you to start thinking about is how you're going to leverage this strategy for next year's procurement process. But you want to start thinking about how you can leverage your network of other small, medium, and large businesses to be able to capture new business. Okay. All right. So let me see. We've got a lot more that I want to cover, but I want to open it up for questions because I've said a lot and I probably need to take a sip of water. So, Michelle, do we have any questions? Have you seen any questions come through?
Not yet. Lots of comments, but let me look on LinkedIn and see. Hold on. Sometimes all the comments don't come through. So let me take a look.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay. So then while you look, I am going to talk about some of the things that companies want to think about as they start forming these joint ventures. Okay. These partnerships. What I want to make certain is, let's see, this is not where I want to go. My slides got mixed up somehow. Okay. Do you see my slide?
No, you need to reshare.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. When you if you present again, I'll put them back on the screen.
Do you see my slide? It's saying that I am showing my screen.
Do you see your slide? If you have, if you, oh, here they are. Look
Okay,
at
you
that.
see it now. Okay. All right, fantastic.
Somebody said something about a HELOC. I was trying to read it on the LinkedIn side, but let me add your presentation back.
Okay. So I'm not familiar with the term HELOC. So I'm interested in well, I know what it is from a home financing perspective, but I'm not sure what it is from a contracting perspective. So if they can share a little bit more about what that means, I can maybe shed a little bit light on that question. But some mistakes to avoid. So when you're going through the process of partnering and joint venturing with other organizations, I think it's really very, very important that you do your homework. You want to make certain that you're not going too fast to try to capture these opportunities. You want to make certain that you're going to market with organizations that you've worked with. So I think it's important that you go through the process of exploring potential cultural and contractual differences that the two organizations or multiple organizations may have with one another. You have to go through the process of doing your due diligence. You've got to vet your partners. It's not just a matter of being introduced, but you need to know, where have they been? Who have they worked with? What's their reputation? Do they have a reputation of delivering? From a financial perspective, you want to get to really understand what is the urgency behind why we need to go to market together. If there is some urgency as it relates to some financial concerns, if you take some time to ask the questions, you may have an opportunity to alleviate some of the headaches that you may have when you go into partnering with these organizations. You want to make certain that you have a very detailed and clear agreement. I always say the best time for a contract is the day before you sign it. You want to make certain that your teaming agreements and your joint venturing agreements have addressed all of the concerns, that it does create a win-win opportunity for all parties involved. You want to make certain that you have a strong project management and oversight process in place. You want to make certain that you have a communication plan in place. So here's where I see some companies struggle as it relates to their partnerships. Is there's typically going to be one party to the agreement that does not want the other party to have direct access to the customer. But if you're going to do business together in supporting and delivering goods and services to your customer, if you're in a formal joint venture, you've got to establish some type of communication strategy and some way of making certain that you both have the opportunity to communicate with the customer, to communicate and deliver in the most effective and efficient manner. I'm sure at the end of the day, we've got a couple of contracting officers on the line. They probably are nodding their heads right now, because I'm sure they've seen some disconnect between teaming partners when it comes to this level of communication. So you want to make certain that your agreements talk about that as well, and that you as partners are addressing the communication throughout the course and the life cycle of your contract. And that you also have good mechanisms in place that will help you to resolve any type of conflict. Okay. So once again, teaming and part, but you don't want to accelerate the opportunity. You don't want to accelerate, you don't want to speed through the relationship. You want to make certain that you are going to market with a really good partner. Okay. So these are some of the things that companies consider when they think about establishing a mentor, going into a mentor protege arrangement. But I also think that these are the same things you should be considering when you're looking at partnering with another organization. And this is where we do our homework. We start putting together a wish list or a checklist of things that are important to us, and how it is important for us to be able to work with another organization, whether they're going to be our mentor or they're going to be our partner. At the end of the day, we want to make certain that we know what we're looking to get out of the relationship that we are entering in, and what benefit we bring to the table when we work with them. So here are a couple of things that companies have considered as they go through the mentor protege process and seeking out a mentor. And a mentor protege is another form of potential joint venture that you can enter into. So they think about the types of assistance that a mentor could potentially have. So when we're thinking about mentor protege, we're looking at working with that mid-sized company primarily, and maybe even some of the large primes. They have the ability to, through mentoring and joint venturing, they have the ability to provide assistance. And in fact, the mentor protege agreements require that they provide some level of assistance through the small business mentor protege program. So you want to make certain that you know what areas you need support in. Make that wish list now, and use this wish list as the opportunity for you to pursue or to seek out a potential partner. And then also, on the other hand, you want to make certain that you understand what benefits you bring to your partner through your capabilities, through your existing relationships with existing customers. You want to make certain that you know what benefits you're bringing to the table that will make it a good win-win between the organizations. So you want it, again, this is all centered around mentor protege, but these are the same exact questions that you want to ask yourself when you're looking to partner with another organization. And then through the mentor protege process, there is a checklist that you can go through that will help you understand what types of assistance I may want to ask for when I enter into an agreement with a larger organization. What type of management and technical assistance do I need? What type of financial assistance may I need? One of the biggest financial assistance that I see a lot of companies need, small businesses in particular, when they're partnering with larger organizations, is access to working capital. So what relationships can your partner bring to the table that can help you increase that working capital? Business development is one of the other key areas that companies are looking for support in. And so how can your partnership with another organization enhance the business development process for you and for them by the two of you working together? Part of it will be the ability to leverage your certifications, but it's also about building a pipeline of opportunities that the two of you can pursue. So you want to consider these things as you go through the process of establishing an agreement with your.
Oops, I think we lost Lisa. Do we have any questions? I'm going to see if I can get Lisa to log back on. I don't know what happened. Do we have any questions? We want to get primed and ready for her. I want to thank you all for joining Demystifying Government Contracting and using, here she is, using uh, joint ventures and teaming as a strategy to grow your business. Hey, Lisa, welcome back.
I don't know what happened here. I really
I
don't.
don't I don't either. I just heard poop and you were gone, girl, like poof. You want to add your slides back?
Sure.
You was
Let's
on
see.
fire. That's probably what it was, girl. You was so hot. It said, "Oh, we need to cool this down for a moment." That's what happened.
Well, we
But
were
this
coming
is
to
a
the
master class. This is a master class.
yes, and we were actually coming to a close. So let me pull this up. I was actually just closing out to say that we want to make certain that as we go through the process of partnering, teaming, and joint venturing with other organizations, that we go through the exercise of doing our homework. We know exactly what it is that we want. What we want and need to get out of the partnership, that there's a strategy in place that will determine what types of opportunities we will pursue together, and we know what benefit we are bringing to the partner. And then through the vetting process, we want to make certain that we understand the other organization. What I have recommended to many of the companies that we work with is before you get into a formal joint venture where you're establishing a separate entity, work together as a team on a contract. See how well you work together on a contract opportunity before you get in bed with with an organization for a more solid, longer term opportunity. You want to make certain that this is going to be a long-term lasting relationship. I've seen partnering opportunities that work well, and I've seen some that have not. And so at the end of the day, we want to make certain that we're going to market with like-minded people pursuing similarly aligned opportunities that will give us both the opportunity to fast path our growth. So I'm going to open it up for questions or comments. What I have on the screen right now is an opportunity to connect with me on LinkedIn. If there's any components of the slides that you want, if you connect with me on LinkedIn and just send me a note, I will make certain I will get those to you. And I hope this was good information. It was a lot of information.
It was amazing. It was like, Lord, like our sister in service said, great and timely presentation. It was on point, on time, and rich with nuggets, right? And if even people who are ready, this will help them get ready, right? Because many people hear this teaming and joint venture thing, but they don't really understand how important it is to use it as a strategic tool. This isn't just something you go out and do. So one of the things that one of the people, I typed it in the chat here because it couldn't come on the other side. I didn't get it on their side. What about using a HELOC to fund your company? So
home equity line of credit. So I don't necessarily recommend that because you in business, you want to make certain that there's a good separation between your personal and your business. And when you use a HELOC to finance your company, you're putting your personal residence at risk potentially. So what's better than using a HELOC is to position your business to obtain working capital, to establish a line of credit with a formal banking institution, to check into some of the SBA programs, that lending programs that they have in place specifically for small businesses. And many of those programs have become a little bit more interesting for small businesses since the pandemic, because right now the objective is to continue to increase and elevate small businesses in the marketplace, because we do know that small business is what carries. It is the heartbeat of our nation. And so instead of using a HELOC, instead I would try to establish some type of credit instrument for your business and through your business directly.
And then Michael said, another one of our experts, and this is what I love about our team of experts, the folks that joined this amazing group, is that we learn from each other. We may be experts, quote unquote, in our field, but we learn so much from the generosity of each other. And Michael is asking, when is a good stage for a small business to apply for 8A Mentor Protege Program?
Yeah, so to apply for Mentor Protege, when is a good what is a good stage for you to establish that? Typically speaking, what I recommend is that you pursue Mentor Protege when you've got some past performance, when you have established a relationship with an organization, and then also you've established a really good relationship with a potential partner. You may have gone to work together on other opportunities. But if you're going to establish a Mentor Protege, I think it should be with someone that you know, someone that you trust, and someone that you want to pursue opportunities together for the longer term. So typically, I mean, there's no timeline, but I really think it is really centered around what you both bring to the table and in how you can be successful to pursue business together and make that Mentor Protege work. I've seen companies that are really small establish a mentor protege, enter into the mentor protege program. And unfortunately, they haven't gotten out of the program what they expected.
Mhm.
But the protege got plenty because they leveraged the certifications. So at the end of the day, I think it is really centered around the type of relationship that you have, how well you work together, and what benefit you bring to the table for the two of you to work together. The other thing I want to say about the mentor protege program, which a lot of companies are not aware of, but the regulations allow for the mentor to take some ownership in the protege if they so desire. So there is the ability to do that, and some small businesses are not aware of that. So if you're entering into the mentor protege program, I think it is very in your best interest to really understand what the ins and outs are of the mentor protege program. The other thing is that you want to be aware of is if you are 8A or you have some other type of designation, generally speaking, on a contract, if you're doing subcontracting, the company that holds the prime contract with the set aside designation has to do 51% of the work. But through a joint venture, I'm sorry, through a mentor protege opportunity and a joint venture that may be formed there, the mentor can do 59% of the work. So just understanding that the percentage can be different through a mentor protege program. So I just want to make certain that you understand what you're getting into more so than at what stage should you enter into the program. And I hope that answered the question.
Awesome. It did. And I think it was Kasiwa who was asking about the HELOC, and she said thank you for that answer. So
Absolutely.
a question I have is, I was at the VA acquisition planning brief to industry, APBI, and I know some folks joined online, but I was talking to a small business, and I asked her, I said, so, what did you get out of today? What was your plan? And she said, well, I'm just coming here to, um, let companies know what I do and to try to, partner or team with them. And I said, why would they team with you? Well, because I do X, Y, and Z. And I said, well, there's thousands of other people that do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
and the fact that, the people you're seeking to do business with are, one of 30 companies selected for a $62 billion um you know opportunity over 10 years. There's no shortage of people wanting to do business with them.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna want to do. So what makes you special? Well, I'm woman, minority. I know, and that's not it. I said, what is it? So, the reality is, I said, who do you know that how can you bring work?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you bring some
Absolutely.
work to them, they're going to be very interested in you.
Yeah.
It's
In
not what
fact,
you do. Go ahead, so please. I'll let you
in,
expand on it.
in fact, some of the companies who have contracts where they're looking to subcontract or um, establish some type of mentor protege, that's what they want to know. They'll ask that question. They want to know, who do you do business with? How long have you done it? What's your past performance? Um, has there been a CPARS? What's your rating? They want to know a little bit about your organization to determine whether or not there is a great opportunity for them to increase their book of business while helping you to increase your book of business.
Absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
and to your point, where I got to get your slides because I love how you gave the things that you should think about if you're going to partner or be, ask somebody to be your mentor or team with them. Because I didn't say it as eloquently as you, but I said, where's your checklist? I said,
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, we got a checklist. He got to have a condo, Miami on the beach. You got to have a G Wagon. He got to have, $100 million in the bank. We got checklists. I'm just pulling that out of off the top of my head. I said the same thing when we go to partner and team. We need to have a checklist. We need to,
Yeah.
and the values piece, I think, is often underrated and overshadowed by the profit. Can you talk a little bit about that before we close out?
You said the value is overshadowed by the
The
profit.
the va- the va- that the profits and the money
Mm-hmm.
overshadow the values, the cultural fit, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So so it is absolutely that we're looking at the dollar sign. But let me I can just give you an example of why it's important to make certain that there's a cultural fit, make certain that there's a strategic fit, because the way that one company goes after and pursues business can be completely different from another company. What you're building within your organization, if it's important to you that you treat your employees well, that provide them with benefit for working with your company, that you do things to increase your retention, that you maintain a certain level of expertise within your organization, because that is what enhances your ability to deliver um, excellently to your customer. Then somebody else or another partner may just be going after opportunities. It may just be a numbers game to them. And when it is just a numbers game to them, 9 times out of 10, they don't care about the benefit that is being added to employees. In fact, I was working with a client not too long ago where a contract opportunity didn't have any opportunity for escalation or increase for their employees through a partnership. So you want to make certain that
Wow. And
you
can
are
you
looking at,
explain that for, that
yeah.
I think I
So
understand what that means, but just to be maybe clear for those who may not be understand what an
mhm.
escalation what that means.
So an escalation is an increase in your price from one year to the next. And the escalation accounts for increase in costs, the increase in inflation, the increase in cost of your benefits. It gives you the opportunity to provide salary increases to your employees from one year to the next. If there's no escalation built into your contracts, then at the end of the day, those things, the increases in your costs, the increase in salary increases that you provide to your employees, bonuses, all those things are going to hit your bottom line, because there's nothing in your contract that allows for that. So you want to make certain that you understand how the pursuit, what is the pursuit of contracts for methodology for the other organization as compared to yours. Um, some companies go after, we probably have heard this, lowest price technically acceptable opportunities. Lowest price technically acceptable sometimes means we're not going to be profitable.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. And so you
Mm-hmm.
want to make certain that through partnering with another organization, that you know the ins and outs of these contracts and what their strategic objectives are. Do they mesh with yours? Now, if you're one who will go, you do a race to the bottom line just to create an opportunity, okay, great. Then maybe the two of you will do well together. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're one who is building an organization that is collecting subject matter experts that can deliver, and you want to take care of them at the end of the day, then your methodology for contract pursuit may be a little bit different. It's also about the type of work that you're going to pursue,
True.
right?
True.
Because if you are information technology service provider, but the partner that you're working in is maybe logistics and facilities management, there may be some information technology components in there, great. Let's pursue that. But if there are none, then is this an area that we want to involve ourselves in and increase some competencies there? Do we understand that type of business? And if it's not, then we might want to explore a different partner. So you have to look at the money components. You have to look at the strategic pursuit initiatives. You have to look at the types of agencies that you and your partners may potentially pursue together, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't hit every single agency. And what you want to be known as somebody that it specializes in something for very specific types of customers. So you want to make certain that you're pursuing things that make sense for your organization. So those are just some things. There's a lot of things. There's a lot more we could consider.
Oh my God, girls, all of those are so important, and it starts, I think, with the business owner knowing who they are and what kind of company they want to build.
Yes.
It starts within first, right? Because we can't attract what we are not, or if we don't know what we want, we're going to get anything.
And so I'm going to go back to that slide.
Yes.
Where we talk about this one. I'm sorry. Oh, this one. So this is our pause profit method, right? And the objective is to create balance and to grow from the inside out. That's the objective. We need to create balance in these 4 key areas: mission, marketing, money, and management. But what happens is we focus so much on marketing that these other areas fall apart. We don't have a mission. We don't have a strategy. We don't have certain things in place. We just chase an opportunity. And when we just chase an opportunity, we have really no clear understanding of how profitable that may be. And that hinders our money components. And when our money components are hindered, now our retention rate is our attrition rate is extremely high because we can't maintain our employees. So we want to make certain that we know what our strategic objectives are. How are we growing our business? What is our objective? Who do we want to serve? What do our partners need to look like? How can we partner together so that there is a collective win-win? I'm going to say win-win-win. Win for me, win for you, and win for the customer. Right. And we have to take all of these things into consideration, because at the end of the day, if we don't, then we're left. We may have a fast path to collecting some cash, but is that cash going to stay within the business?
Yeah.
Is it going to give us an opportunity to be profitable? Is it really going to give us an opportunity to scale? Will we have an opportunity to invest in infrastructure through the type of opportunities and contracts that we're pursuing, the agencies that we're seeking to do business with?
Well, I don't know about y'all, but how do you feel? Did Lisa not bring the fire? Lisa, you killed it, girl. Thank you so much. I got, I'm gonna tell you, I give flowers. When I don't know everything, but when I can be in the presence of someone that takes my knowledge and gives more clarity and makes it deeper and more comprehensive, I got to bow down and give respect. You killed it today. I'm gonna have to study these slides, girl. Come back with some more questions, because this to me is gold. It is what is missing in this rat race we call GovCon.
Yes.
Absolutely. People are just out here running, hustling. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're doing
it. Absolutely.
Excuse me.
And there are certain things in the marketplace that kind of make us do that. We talk about continuing resolutions. We talk about, potential federal government shutdowns. We talk about, procurement procurement slowing down. We're hitting into a new election season. Those are all buzzwords. But at the end of the day, business has got to continue. The
And it
government has
will.
got to function, and it
And it
will,
will.
absolutely. And somebody's going to be there to capture the opportunity. So you have to do your homework. You have to keep the process going. You have to start doing things to establish really good relationships with those that matter to you and your business and to your customer. Um, and hustle is not. I mean, yes, you have to hustle. You have to. Um, be on a pursuit, but you have to be on a meaningful pursuit.
There you go. There you go. The
Yeah.
mission has to mean something.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Well, girl, I want to say thank you. Any questions before we close out? If you missed it, you didn't miss it, because the generosity of Lisa is that this is recorded. I'm gonna tag her. She's already tagged in it, but I'm gonna make sure it gets on her um profile, because this was perfect, timely. All these folks are out here trying to figure out how they're going to seize, 12 billion in VA, but there's so many other agencies, because we didn't get our money till late. We, the federal government, didn't get our money till late. So all these federal agencies are trying to execute that money. And one of the things I think that is underutilized, much like, Lisa said it much more eloquently, is joining forces with similarly situated businesses. That means women owned, a bunch of women owned getting together to go after women owned opportunities. Veterans joining together to go after veteran owned opportunities, hub zone, etc. And what it does is allow you to act and have more capability and capacity, like a larger business.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and meet those socioeconomic you know um goals, and set aside. So thank you, Lisa.
You're
Is
welcome.
there anything you want to tell people? How can we get your book? I know you told us, is it on Amazon? Tell us about it, girl.
Yes, I'm going to go back to the slide that had that information on it really quickly. The best way is to connect with me on LinkedIn. Sorry. The
Mm-hmm.
QR code here
Mm-hmm.
um, takes you directly to my LinkedIn site. If you're interested in the book, you can go to anavots.com/book. We only sell it here internally. So you can check out our website and order the book there. Like I said, connect with me on LinkedIn, and then tag me. Let me know what you gained from this conversation this evening. And if you're interested in some of the information, the slides, or some of the information I provided this evening, let me know, and I will make certain to get that to you.
Awesome. And the book is going to give you the information, but the transformation comes from working with Lisa. So, she's not selling, I'm not selling, but the book, just want to repeat that. The book will give you the information, but the transformation and the growth will come from the benefit of Lisa's almost 30 years of success as a entrepreneur, and her success, I think, even greater than just doing it yourself, is the ability to help other people succeed. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you. And I'm going to close out today. Thank everybody else for joining. I hope it was beneficial to you. Um, um, Share this with other people who may find it valuable. It's timely for any and everybody, regardless of where you are in your business journey. I tell people, it doesn't matter if you're a $200,000 company or a $200 million company. You're always in the business of building business.
Yes.
That never stops. And your strategy has sometimes we got to do new things to get new places and achieve new success. So thank you again for joining. I want to say God bless you. God bless you. God bless you indeed. May He enlarge your territory. May He increase your profits. May He make your vision plain. May He order your steps. May He bring you the right partners and the right people to help you grow your business. I want to say, may He keep you from evil and keep evil from you, because we know everybody is not honest, and we also want to be aware that we want to stay away from things that are not good for us. But more than anything, I want to say, may God bless you indeed. Bless you, Lisa. Wow. And I want to say good night.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you, and God bless you as well.
Oh, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good
And Lori
night.
said she need 20 copies. Okay, come on
All
now.
right.
We got Linda Gray saying great presentation. We got who else? There was somebody else. Lori said dropping bombs. But yeah, this was awesome, and I can't wait to hear the pricing presentation as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank
All
you
right,
all.
thank you and good night.
Good night.